Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Budget Enthusiast. And as you can see, it is October, and October means scary movies. So, what I'm going to do for you, my loved audience, we're going to venture into Scary Town and we're going to take a look at some scary movies throughout the month of October. I'm going to try to do one a week. We'll see how that goes, but definitely be on the lookout for the new Halloween movie. I'm definitely going to do a review on that when I see it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty solid. But right now, we're going to venture into Shudder. And Shudder is a streaming service that does nothing but horror movies. So we're going to go there first and we're going to check out something that was recommended to me by Shudder. It's like ranked up there high as far as the recommendations for my tastes. So this movie is called Scare Package. And right after the intro, we're going to dive right in. All right, so we're back in, y'all. So, like I said, we're going to talk about Scare Package. Now, Scare Package is an anthology movie. Now, for those of you who don't know what an anthology movie is, think of like Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. A movie that has different tales and stories within the overall movie. So, it's like that. And these are some of my favorite movies to watch because you get a mixture of different directors and stories. It's really well, like most of them are really well done. Even some of the dumb, cheesy ones I enjoy. One of my favorite ones of an anthology is the VHS series. I don't know if you guys have seen that. VHS and VHS 2 and VHS Viral. Those are some of my favorites. Those are absolutely amazing. And they're done by different directors. This one is the same way. This one is done by different directors, but they keep the same overall tone and theme. So the theme of this movie is pretty much horror movie tropes. Now, what a horror movie trope would be something like the killer, you stab the killer, you think he's dead, and he always comes back. Or you always have different stereotypes within the movie. Like they're always like a teenage emo person. Then you have a jock. Then you have the village slut. Then, all those things. Those are called tropes. So these are things that occur in horror movies all the time. So this movie likes to make fun of those tropes while giving you gore and a few scares. So the first things first, this movie already was tugging at my heartstrings because the main focus of this movie is about a guy named Chad, and he runs a video store. His video store is named Rad Chad, and he runs a video store. And for those of you who don't know, I used to work at a video store. It was my very first job, and it was Hollywood Video. And the shirt and uniform that he wears in this movie reminds me so much of the Hollywood uniform. So his is more of like a cowboy thing, but it's a denim shirt and jeans. And we wore denim shirts at Hollywood Video. Now let me tell you, when you're doing inventory or when you're like walking around the floor all day, wearing a denim shirt is not an ideal thing. It can get super hot. You'd be sweaty as crap underneath that thing. But anyway, back to the movie. So Rad Chad owns a video store, and he's looking for a new employee. He finds a new employee, and then this is where the movie starts to pick up. So what happens is there's another guy that comes into the store. He's like a regular. He's desperately trying to work there. So he starts talking about movies. So whenever he talks about a movie, they would show what he's talking about to the audience. So this is where we get the anthology series from. So once he starts talking about a movie, they cut to what he's talking about, and you get to visually see the movie that he's describing. And in some instances, they'll put in a VHS tape to play for the store, but we get to see that movie. It's pretty cool. It took me back to my youth. This was back in 99 when I started working there. So that kind of shows my age right there. But anyway, so back to the movie. I liked a lot about this movie. Now, it's a horror comedy, so I know you're thinking, this is not, you're supposed to be talking about scary stuff. It is a horror movie with comedic elements in it. And it's gory, the dialogue is absurd. It's meant to be a parody and exposing all the horror movie tropes, but it's very enjoyable to me. Now, I'm going to go down the list of my favorite ones. So we're going to talk a little bit about each one. So my favorite story, we're going to start there. My absolute favorite story is I think it's like the second or third one. It's called One Night in the Woods. The practical makeup effects in this are awesome, and it's so funny. Like, the way the plot goes in it is so simple, and that's the beauty of horror movies. You can take a simple plot and pretty much murder everybody within that small plot. It's awesome. Now this one, the gore effects in it are crazy. They're over the top. It's really silly, but it's my absolute favorite one there. Like, when I was done watching it, I went back to watch that, and when I was getting screenshots for this video, I ended up watching that segment in its entirety again. I absolutely love it. So remember, it's called One Time in the Woods. So if you check it out, this is what you're going to get my favorite one there. So my second favorite out of it is the night he came back again. Now, the basic premise of this one is there's a killer that can't be killed. So just think about that for a second. Think about Jason and Freddy and all these other super villains, if you will, that just can't be killed. Like, you think you blew them into pieces, and they come back in the next movie. So this is playing off of that. Hilarious. The death scene. Okay, the death scene of the girl. I probably will show a picture of it on the screen. I think I have it. I may not have it on there or not. I can't remember. But the death scene with the torso, with the bottom half of a human being, is hilarious. I was cracking up when I saw this thing happen. The whole segment is pretty awesome. So that's my second favorite. So that's called The Night He Came Back Again. So the next one that I like is called Mr. And Mr. actually stands for something. So it is about a dude who is, he's kind of down on his luck, and he's at a bar. He's talking to the bartender. He's, drinking and stuff. So he goes to use the restroom, and he sees a flyer that has Mr. and it has, what each letter means on the flyer. He gets inspired. He goes to that meeting, and then the rest is history. It took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting exactly that. This one is one of the shorter ones, but I do like the direction that they were taking it. I could see a full-length movie like this. If you don't like satanic type stuff, then, may not be your bag, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and it's my number 3 out of all of them. So my fourth favorite one is the Rad Chad Horror Emporium. So what this is Rad Chad that I told you about, that owns that video store. This is his overarching story. So his story takes place pretty much in snippets in between each other segment, and then he's in Chad is in the very last story, but his story is hits home, man. It's like working in a video store. It is awesome, and you got to keep the video. You got to find a movie to play on the TVs around the place. You got to keep the ambiance up. You got to be able to focus when you're ringing up someone and the phones are ringing or people are asking you questions. You have to be able to focus on the customer, and it's hilarious. I was cracking up because a lot of the things the little torture test that he's doing to his new employee are some of the things that you do honestly have to endure working there at a video store. And I know video stores are gone for folks who are super young. If you've never seen a video store before, I'm sorry. You missed out. Video stores were awesome. But this definitely hit home, and it gave me nostalgic vibes throughout his whole segment. So that's my fourth favorite one. That's the Rad Chad Horror Emporium. So number 5, my fifth favorite one is the Horror Hypothesis. Now this particular one is it's part of the overarching story with Rad Chad, but it is its own separate story. Now this particular story, have you guys seen The Cabin in the Woods, the one with Chris Hemsworth that came out a few years ago? That movie reminded me a lot of this movie reminded me a lot of that at the very end. Like they ended it kind of the same way, like almost pulling back the curtain on a play. When you pull back the curtain and you see the inner workings of everything, this is very similar to that. It has Saw vibes because like I said, they're making fun of a lot of different things. So they're making fun of that particular genre, the meta genre. So meta movies always make you believe, like they try to be so realistic and expose tropes and other things that they kind of sometimes certain meta things take you out of it. This particular one was funny to me. Like they had me cracking up. And this particular one, this is kind of a spoiler. This might be my first real spoiler, but those of you who are wrestling fans, such as myself, you will recognize the killer at the very end of in this segment is Dustin Rhodes, who is Goldust, and now he's in AEW, so going by his actual name. So Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust, plays the killer in this particular segment. And when I saw it, I was like, yo, that is amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Now the kills in this probably has my favorite kill in it. And I probably shouldn't tell you. I just will let you know. This segment, Horror Hypothesis, is like the last closing segment, has my favorite kill in it. And it involves someone being upside down, someone holding legs, and that's all I'm going to say. So if you do end up watching this movie, just know when you see it, you're going to know that that's my favorite kill. Probably of the whole movie. That one, that would have me cracking up. There's a couple good ones in this whole shebang. It's a lot of blood, and it's excessive blood too. It's like they spill gallons of blood on these people. So I'm pretty sure, I know how the fake blood, like the corn syrup type stuff that they use, sometimes that stuff stains. So I know these are mostly white people too. So I know they had a little reddish hue after filming this particular movie, because there's so much blood in this thing. So moving on. So the next, number 6, my 6th favorite story in this one is called Cold Open. Now this one starts off the movie. This one wasn't as entertaining. Like, I understand the trope that they're going for. They're going for the babysitter the two babysitters at the house. There's a killer trying to infiltrate. I understand all that stuff, but it didn't hit me like the rest of them did. it had some funny moments, of course, but overall, it just wasn't as good as some of the others. The number 7 on my list, this is the 7th best one out there. This one's called Girls Night Out of Body. So I'll repeat that. Girls Night Out of Body. And I didn't understand where this one was going. It's another one of the shorter ones. It didn't captivate me at all. I didn't even understand. Well, maybe I kind of get which trope they're going for, but it didn't really do anything for me. Like I wasn't excited about it. I thought the premise was kind of lame. They only killed one person in it. Now, after watching all the rest of them and how much violence takes place in all these other ones, when you see this one, it's like the tamest one, period, out of the whole bunch. Not very good. But it's still not my least favorite one. My least favorite one is coming up next. So, my absolute least favorite one, like, they could have cut this particular one out of the movie, and it would have made the movie actually a lot better. It's called So Much to Do. I can't even tell you guys what trope they're going for. I tried to think about it. I was going to watch the segment again, but I couldn't get myself to watch the segment again. This particular one is not good. Like, I just don't like anything about it. I will say the main actress is she pretty fine, but the rest of it, no, it wasn't even worth your time. Unfortunately, you have to watch it to get to the rest of it. But I mean, hey, that's anthology movies for you. You get some duds and then you get some great ones. This particular one is the dud, and it's my least favorite one out of all 8 stories. It's my least favorite one. It's god awful. I did not like it. It didn't make any sense to me. It was pretty dumb, and it had like different segments. Like they put this commercial in there for I don't know. It wasn't good. So if you do decide to watch this movie, if you have Shudder, you don't fast forward it. You need to see it so you understand what I'm saying. But I understand if you have, like, when you start it, if you're like, ugh, I don't really like this, and you fast forward through it, I understand. It wasn't very good. The things I do for my audience, I had to endure that. It's kind of trash. But the overall movie, I thought it was great. So I would say I highly recommend watching it for at least the first, my top 5 make it worth watching. The 6th, the 7th, and the 8th out of there, they're iffy. Cold Open, some people may end up liking that one. That wasn't not even close to being my favorite. So I would say I would give this one 2 thumbs up. I would say check it out, man. Thank you, Shudder, for recommending this one to watch. So hopefully this gives you an idea of the movie overall. I try not to do spoilers, so I have to be kind of vague. Please forgive me. Maybe one day, after a while, I'll start doing I'll record videos that actually go in depth and talk about some of the things that I want to talk about within the movie. But I like to keep mine spoiler free so that you can go into it not, having things messed up for you. You can actually enjoy it. So hopefully this helped out. And as usual, be ready because more scary movies are coming. So everybody, stay safe out there. As usual, thank you for watching. Peace.